All right, here we go. Good morning, everybody. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the Forex market. This is another episode 263 of Trade with Travis. Obviously, this is on TradingView, YouTube. Obviously, make sure that you end up subscribing to Expert Advisor Reviews as well. Thank you for being able to pop in. I do appreciate everyone being able to pop in within this overall time and being able to take a look at what's happening when it comes down to the overall trading day. Now, like always, I'm going to end up going through the disclaimer and getting everything else placed out when it comes down to that. And obviously, we end up taking a look at some overall trading pairs that we have good chances on being able to create capital off of when it comes down to that. Right now, currently, we're having a very good week when it comes down to trading. The thing is, obviously, we just want to make sure we maintain that momentum. So let's get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. Now, understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. It also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results. If you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're going to end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and kind of put everything else together, I know that I didn't necessarily place in the links for everybody to be able to take a look at this. So I don't know if the viewership is going to end up being 100% there, but for the people that do catch this and watch this, and when I send this over to obviously our group, everyone can be able to know what's actually happening when it comes down to the overall trading day and kind of put everything else together when it comes down to that. Matter of fact, give me a second. Let me go ahead and place in a link for everyone currently right now. Um, we'll go from there. Everyone, been a weird morning this morning. Well, it's been a weird couple of days. My daughter actually ended up getting earrings yesterday, which was kind of cool to be able to take a look at. And my son has had a little bit of a stomach bug, so trying to get everything else situated when it comes down to that. All right, but cool. We got that started. Let's go ahead and get into what's happening with the economic calendar. Obviously, yesterday was the first day of the month. Remember, March is typically a moving month. What I mean by moving month, that means that we're probably going to end up seeing a lot of great movement, a lot of more of what's the best way to say it? More volatility when it comes down to the overall time and seeing everything kind of transpire when it comes down to trading. If we can be able to get that, then I think that obviously we end up having a very good time when it comes down to that. Going into what's happening today, as we end up taking a look at it, we can see that we have nothing on the board when it comes down to news today. Friday, it will be the first trading day of the week. But I did not see non-farm payroll, which is kind of weird because typically you see non-farm payroll on the first Friday of the month, but that's not being shown here as of yet. But who knows? It may still be there. The thing is, I just want to see how everything is kind of playing itself out, and we'll kind of go from there. And hopefully we'll probably get a little bit more information on what's happening with that overall news. Um, let's see. Just taking a look at everything as we go through, looking at my expert advisors and kind of seeing how everything kind of playing off when it comes down to that. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and go to Smart Trader. Let's take a look at what's happening when it comes down to the charts. We'll take a look at the United States dollar index. We'll take a look at oil. We'll take a look at gold. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to start off with Bitcoin today because Bitcoin is the first thing that showed up on my chart. Remember yesterday, actually we didn't have a session yesterday. So remember on Tuesday, what we ended up saying was this: we seen that the market ended up rejecting 25,000. And we end up saying that if the market ends up rejecting 25,000, then more than likely what we'll probably see is the market will probably fall down right around 22,310. If the market ends up falling and having a little bit of retracement, the daily is in the buy zone. Please keep that in mind. That's the reason why I think that we end up having a strong push to the upside, but we're starting to see a little bit more consolidation starting to play out. At least from a daily perspective, from a 2 hour perspective, it doesn't necessarily look like that. From a 1 hour perspective, we can say the same thing. It doesn't necessarily look like consolidation as of yet. We just see that the market is just trying to get its wits about itself. But we did have a breakout, and typically when you end up having a breakout, you will end up having a retest. The breakout was this counter trend line break, or this purple line that we're looking at right here. Currently, right now, if I adjust this based off of that last high that we end up having there goes the counter trend line break. Here goes the retest currently right now. The daily and the hourly are in the buy zone. What I would end up doing is paying attention to what's happening based off of the 15-minute and see if there's going to end up being a counter trend line break. Now, with that being said, there's no news that is happening today. Doesn't necessarily mean there might not be any type of news when it comes down to Bitcoin, but there's no news when it comes down to what's happening with the United States dollar. So we just got to play it and kind of see what's going on when it comes down to that. CMG, what's going on? Hope everything's going well with you. But overall, Bitcoin, I'll probably keep my eyes on, but I probably won't make a move until there's a counter trend line break overall. Let's go United States dollar index. United States dollar index currently right now, we take a look at it from a weekly perspective. Remember, we always start off with weekly, then after that go to the daily, then after that, if we have time frame alignment, we can be able to make a move. We are 4 weeks from the transition trade that we end up talking about, where the market ended up hitting 12,626. And then after that, we can look at being able to buy from that overall position. Since then, the market has had 4 weeks of overall push to the upside. It's staying above that 12,960 area, which is a very good thing to be able to see, especially if we're saying that the market is going to end up continuing to be bullish. But currently right now, we can see that there are a lot of wicks to the upside of sellers basically just rejecting what's happening overall when it comes down to this movement. We got a high wick right there, high wick right there, high wick right there, and high wick right there. That means to me that 12,960 is really starting to be a little bit more of a resistance. And if that's going to end up being the case, kind of like what ended up happening with what's happening with Bitcoin, we should see Bitcoin go up. We should see the United States dollar possibly end up falling back down to that 12,864 number. If that does happen, then after that, we'll start to see a little bit more consolidation. But the only way to be able to know that is by kind of letting this thing kind of play out. So United States dollar index, when it comes down to pairs, I'm probably not going to end up taking a trade when it comes down to that one as of yet. And we'll go from there. Oil has been pretty much the same. There hasn't been any movement on oil. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to stop looking at this one until it truly just breaks out of consolidation, but we can still be able to talk about it very quickly. Until the market breaks out of this green area, there's really no trading opportunity to be able to take. Once it breaks out of 82.50, we're looking at being able to take it up to 94. If it breaks below $70 a barrel, then I think it's going to go to $63 a barrel from that fall. Okay, there we go. I wish somebody, let's see, I haven't been on the screen for the whole time, but there we go. There we go. Hope everybody's doing very well. Let's see. And so really no movement when it comes down to that one as of yet. Oil staying away from that as of right now. Gold. Gold has been persistent. The market ended up falling down and hitting that take profit that we end up talking about at 1800. Since then, the market has gotten all the way up to 1836. The daily is in the buy zone, which matches up with what's happening with Bitcoin and what's matching up what's happening with the United States dollar index with that impending type of fall. From a weekly perspective, we see that the weekly is in the no trade zone, but it's still kind of showing more movement to the downside. And this market hasn't made a counter trend line break to the upside to be able to prove that gold is going to end up being strong. Now, remember, gold is more of a, when gold gets stronger, it's more of a fear type of deal when it comes down to the United States dollar, meaning that the United States dollar is getting very weak. So more people put money back into gold because it just makes it feel a little bit more comfortable because gold is a little bit more stable when it comes down to pricing. From a daily perspective, we don't have a clear move to be able to say that this market is truly ready to be able to pop up to the upside as of yet. We can say that there is a counter trend line break. I will agree with it being a counter trend line break at this particular point. But I don't know. This may be a C to D move. If it is a C to D move, then it's a great time to be able to get in. That's basically saying that we believe that the United States dollar is going to end up being weak. Let me go to the 2 hour. Let me take a look at this one more time. Let's evaluate it one more time. We had a counter trend line break. We had a breakout to the upside. We see that the market is gaining a little bit more momentum right here. There's a counter trend line break when it comes down to that. 15 minutes got to be oversold. Actually, it's not. Okay, well, let's look at a potential buy trade. Let's see. Let's take a look at a potential buy trade. We'll kind of go from there. Yeah, I think that's more the presets. unless you just kept it by, if you just kept it alone and just did Euro United States dollar, you can leave it just like that. But if you end up changing it with another pair, then it probably won't work properly because it has to have preset files to go with it. The original file is just the Euro United States file. You stay with that one, then it will work, and just let it go. Okay, so let's talk about this from a 15-minute perspective. Look at it from a scalping perspective, just in general, and then after that, let's go to a 2-hour perspective and see if there's anything else that we can kind of work off of. All right, from a scalping perspective, this is what I believe is going to end up happening. We look at two different types of pushes. I think the easiest push to be able to say is that the market can be able to get up to 1847. That's 9 points away when it comes down to this overall movement. So you're looking at being able to scalp. This is an opportunity of being able to scalp. Now, I think that this market is probably going to end up making somewhat of two different waves. So first wave will end up being first wave will probably end up being A, B, C, D. And then after that, the market may end up doing a little bit more of a retracement from here to here, a little bit more of a move, and then retest the backside of that breakout area that ended up happening a while ago. So I think this is the first phase of this push, which means that it may end up being the easier trade to be able to take. And I think that's the reason why it may not necessarily be. I'm keen on being able to get in on this one. Even at 6:30 in the morning, we looked at the United States dollar index. I looked at a little bit of weakness. Yes, Euro United States dollar. Looking at a little bit of weakness. So I think I might like this. Let's see. We put a stop loss below the swing low at this particular point and make that our risk. The lowest price on this one was 1829. If we go below the A, that'd be 1822. Let's see, what's the risk reward on this? Go to 1853. Risk, if we end up doing this, would end up being 82 points going after 160. So a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. Not a 1 to 2.3, but it's something that we can kind of work off of. Obviously, if we end up making our stop loss a little bit lower, talking about a 1 to 1 right there. All right, so this is what I'll probably do. One, we see, at least for right now, if the market is starting to show a little bit of some people starting to sell off on this overall move, at least for right now. If this market continues to keep on going and it breaks past this overall high of this movement right here, where we end up having that little bit of stagnation, then yeah, I think that'll be a valuable move. I'm gonna wait for this market to kind of retrace first on being able to make a move. I'm not going to jump in yet because I can see that it's falling down. We possibly can be able to get a little bit more value. Anywhere, I would love to be able to buy, especially if this market is showing consolidation. I would love to be able to buy somewhere around here if the market gives us another chance. Somewhere around that halfway point between there and there. That would be my areas where if I was looking at being able to buy. Currently, right now, you can limp in. I can truly say you can limp in right now and feel comfortable with it. I want to see if I can get better value. So I'm going to wait until see if this market is going to end up falling down to this overall price. If it does, then I'll look at being able to get in. See, I just have to drag it on there. No templates. That all depends. CMG, and I explain what I mean by that. Just give me a second. You think Euro United States dollar market would go up? I think that If we're going based off of what we're looking at gold being able to have strength. We're looking at Bitcoin possibly being able to pop up to the upside. We look at the United States dollar index showing signs of weakness. You can assume that the euro United States dollar is going to end up going up just because of the weakness of the United States dollar. Hostway, thanks for being able to pop in. Let's take a look at it real quick. All right, so weekly perspective. This is our field that we're working off of. Obviously, we've seen the market drop all the way down to almost 93 cents when it came down to that movement, screaming out United States dollar strength. Currently, right now, as we're looking at it from a weekly perspective, um, the market ended up having a resistance of 1.11. The market has been falling down for the last 5 weeks. It's in a no trade area, which makes it kind of hard for me to be able to make a decision when it comes down to that push. But overall, I think that if this market ends up bouncing or remaining to be right around the low price of 104.80, then I think that we might have a good chance of being able to look at some upside push. But right now, the thing is, when I look at jumping in right now and being able to say that you're not, being able to uh, buy based off of Eurozone strength, currently right now, I'm going to say no, I would not jump in yet. At the inflation zone, wasn't what investors thought it would be at. Somewhat, somewhat. Um, at this particular point, we're still kind of the market is still trying to define where it is. We really only have one tap in this overall zone. Typically when the market ends up having somewhat of a push, it kind of shows a little bit of consolidation first before really being able to make another push. And currently, right now, we only have, if we're really being honest, um, that's a low price. Here goes the high price. Market's probably going to have to do something like this first before truly being able to pop up to the upside and kind of breaking this overall area. I don't think that the market is trendy that much, and there's enough volatility just to be able to make this a counter trend line break and push up to the upside. At least not yet. So I wouldn't look at jumping in on buying yet, if I'm being honest. Which means that kind of going back to what I ended up saying with gold. That's the reason why I'm waiting right now. I want to see how the market's going to end up playing itself out first. No reason to jump in yet. It's not a high probability trade as of yet. But I do like what I see. There's the counter trend line break. There's a push to the upside. Let's see if that's a breakout to the retest. See, I'm going to stick to my guns, so I'm going to overthink this. There goes your outer. There goes your inner. Yeah, I'll be patient. I'm gonna wait for a second. Oh, sway. There's no reason to jump in yet. And maybe it just might be because it's early, but I'm gonna wait. United States dollar in US 30. Let's go ahead and talk about that. Took a sell on this one last week. Ended up hitting take profit off of both pairs. Currently, right now, kind of seeing how the market's kind of reacting off of this. Remember, we're still inside of this large consolidation since the early portion of November of last year. Um, Last week, we ended up taking a trade right around this time where the market ended up breaking from 33,518. We ended up taking profit on take profit one at 33,300. The second take profit was at the bottom of this consolidation at 33,540. We ended up getting out at 33,550. This is the third time that this market has hit this overall position right here, proving that this is a strong and major consolidation at this particular point. The question is, how much consolidation are we going to see around this point, or is the market just going to end up popping up to the upside? Now, keep this in mind. This is where correlations always come back in. If the United States dollar index starts to get stronger, then that means that the United States dollar is going to end up getting weaker. which means that going back to what we said with Euro, United States dollar, with Bitcoin, with gold, all of those that end up getting stronger against the United States dollar, if that is the case. So if you look at US 30 starts to push up to the upside, then what will end up happening is that the United States dollar index is going to end up doing this, which means that pairs like Euro, United States dollar will end up being buys. GU will end up being a buy. We end up taking a look at what's happening with gold. Gold will end up being looking at buying. Take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin will probably end up looking at Bitcoin versus United States dollar will probably end up being an upside move as well. Now, currently right now, there's no true sign of being able to say that this market is ready to be able to make a push to the upside yet. It has hit support, which means that if it has hit this major support, there may end up being a strong bounce. But the market will have to bounce, break inside of this 32,840 area. And then after that, if it breaks above 32,840, then it's going to 33,4 or 33,430 in a rush. I think that they end up getting to that point. But currently right now, nothing to be able to do, but we do see consolidation starting to pick back up. So I will say that it wouldn't surprise me if people will look at being able to buy today. The question is when it's going to be the right time. If we're being safe with this, we take a look at volume profile, we can be able to say that here is the slight consolidation points when it comes down to this. Here is your high volume node. Market breaks above 32,810. That's the safest area to be able to start looking at being able to buy when it comes down to this. You got a quick scalping position where you can be able to get out. You got a quick scalping position that you can be able to get out at 32,880. That will be the first one. But from there, once again, we're still inside of consolidation, but the zone that I would look at being able to buy up to would be up to there. So back up to 33,100, being safe, 33,80. So easily, when it comes down to this push after it breaks above this overall area, you're talking about 288 points, at the least 250 points when it comes down to movement. Stop loss will end up being below the low of this. Stop loss will end up being below the low of the high volume node, or the lowest price of the high volume node, which would be 32,650. Okay. Got one more pair to be able to go through, and then after that we'll get back. We'll go back into it. But I'm going to place this in as an idea once this happens. Something like this. Movement to be up to there. Stop loss to be below there. I don't like the risk reward factor as of yet, but that would be the move. Last one, NAS 100. NAS 100, we end up having a sale on that one earlier last week. End up taking a sale right around 12,040. Take profit was at 11,740. Currently, right now, we're getting very close to being able to hit that. The question is, are we still going to get the momentum to be able to make this thing be able to pop to the downside? Currently, right now, what I'm looking at is, we're being honest, we're looking at it from an hourly perspective. We're still in a low volume node, which I should be happy about, but until this market breaks below 11,800 and close below from an hourly perspective, I don't know. I think I'd be a little bit more worried about this one. So I may look at taking profit. I think I might take a little bit off. But yeah, I think I might take a little bit off. Currently, right now, there's no move on NAS 100. We got a chance at it. Got a chance at it 2 days ago. Finally triggered in, and then after that went from there, consolidated a little bit, and then after that start making this push. Currently, right now, I wouldn't say anything on for this one. All right, so we're done for today on that one. If you like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up clicking on that boost button when it comes down to trading view. Obviously, this is the last day that we're going to end up trading this week, but we'll get right back into it on Monday. Also, if you watch on YouTube, please make sure that you end up clicking on. Make sure that you end up going to the YouTube link and make sure that you subscribe to that and what we have with expert advisor reviews, which is also on the link. I see each and every one of y'all going into Monday. We'll take a look at what's happening with US 30, and we'll take a look at what's happening with gold. I do like both of those trades overall. May end up having a good opportunity of being able to jump into one of those trades as we go through and take a look at it. Oil, remember, gold is probably the one that I'll probably be a little bit more excited about. But remember, I think that it's probably going to fall a little bit first before going back up. So keep that in mind as we go through. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan. I see each and every one of y'all in the next one. Take it easy.